What's going on, guys? This is Aussie Man. How y'all doing today? So I just got off work, guys, and down at Pueblo Grande Museum today we're going to see some ancient Native American ruins here, and I'm just at the front, just about to walk in. Let's head on in and see what we got today. Alright, so over here you can see the map of the Salt River, which runs east of Phoenix up into the center. We have all the little different areas where there were recordings of Native American settlements all through this area. Now on the date line we have 450 AD. As you can see here, it says Pueblo Grande site, other villages. Date as early as AD 1. It's quite a ways back. Moving on, back here in 800 AD, we have the collapse of the Maya city-states. Over here, Vikings reached North America in 1000. And continuing on, Aztecs found, I don't know how to pronounce that, but what is now New Mexico City in 1345. Here we've got a pretty cool display of some of the artifacts here that they would have used back in the day. We have some stone hand axe heads there, and there's a finished look of what they would have looked like back in the time. Got some bone awls for working with hides. Some cool little projectiles here. We've got some little arrowheads and stuff. This we've got some obsidian here, as you can see. That is really cool. I've been looking for obsidian for quite some time. Have not been able to find any yet. Okay, so they also, as well as hunting, they did do a lot of farming. Now, here we have a seasonal harvest chart. What do we got? In spring, we had things like mustard seed. They'd store their agave, a prickly pear, cholla buds. Early summer, they'd be having grass seeds. First harvest of corn and beans would be in this early summer. Late summer is when the monsoons would start, so there'd be time to start planting the corn and beans and different varieties. Now down here in autumn or fall, as some of you would know, they have the second harvest of corn, stored mesquite, communal rabbit and large game hunts, so they'd be doing a lot of hunts in the fall. In the winter, they would primarily feed off their stored crops and different greens. Now this is kind of cool. I knew that they used to dig out water basins, but I did not know that they actually built their own canals. Here we see the Hohokam canals. Canals, some up to 50 feet wide and 16 miles long, extended the reach of the desert rivers, constructed of the canal systems, one of the greatest engineering feats of the time back then. Now, me personally, I really love the Native American artwork. I love the way that they carve and set their bowls and pottery. They have some really unique designs on them. It's really cool, and seeing as these things are probably thousands of years, or at least hundreds of years older than I am, it's really cool to see them on display. Up on here we got some different necklaces and earrings and such like that, made out of seashells, stone, bone, turquoise. Very, very cool. You can see some carved stone down here. Down here they also used to weave their own baskets, and here is a start the beginning of a coiled basket that's been weaved out of different plant matter. Here you can see a old style cotton spindle. They used to also use their own cotton and weave their own fibrous clothes. Now this is very cool. This is a very old style weaving loom, as you can see right here. Kind of similar to what we still use today. It's just a more primitive version. Now this is cool. I always get excited about petroglyphs. As you can see on this boulder, we have a petroglyph still sitting on here, and they've put it in the display for us to see. Here we have some more pottery. I actually really like this one here. It's got the black with red on it. Now here we have a representation of trade networks. As you can see on this map, the Pueblo Grande Classic Period imports. So here's a map of the area and the different trails, what they'd create and trade amongst each other: pottery, argillite, obsidian, more pottery, turquoise down here. Now the trade routes were very important. A, for having peace amongst the tribes, and B, for getting products that other tribes may not have had access to before. They could trade for other items that they needed within the tribe. Okay, this is kind of exciting. I've been to some other ruins that you can walk amongst, and they have a giant ball court there. I never really knew what it was for, what kind of ball games that they played. But right here they have a picture and it explains a bit about what they used. They actually used stone balls to play with. Here you can see the balls that they used back in that time for their ball games. Okay, as you can see here, this is a representation of trash through the different layers. Now, obviously up top we're going to have more modern stuff from modern day. As you go down, you'll probably get into the early 1900s. See the old clay marble there. Some really cool old pottery there. That's actually really cool. Old glass from the early 1900s, late 1800s. But then you start getting down into the older stuff, and this is probably the broken or discarded items from amongst the ruins back in the time. Now this giant pot here, this wasn't used for everyday purposes, but this is what they stored a large amount of their long life storage items. Some of their grains and some of their products that they were keeping for a long time, they would stack inside these large pots. As you can see on this wall, we've got these gourds that they'd hollowed out. This was their water storage, and you can see like these macrame style slings that they would try to keep these over their shoulders with and carry it about. Okay guys, so here you can see a representation of the city that once stood here. This is the platform mound where they had their little city laid out here, and here's a representation of what it would have looked like. Okay guys, we're in an art gallery now. We've got some Native American art here. I really like this one because it's got a beautiful landscape setting with the city laying there. This one's really cool too, actually. I like how it has different scenes coming through with some of the artwork that you might find on the pottery here. Very nice pieces of art that they have here. This is the Great Zuni Flood, representing a giant flood that had happened with the Zuni people. Here we have some really cool woven blankets here. I really love the pattern that they always come out with. These Native American pieces are really cool. So in here you've got the kids gallery, where the kids can come in and learn a little bit more about the archaeology and the excavation of this site. Clues from the dig. So here you can see like a sifting basket they had set up. Here's some of the things that they might have had sit in the basket. There's some animal bones here. You can see fish and bones from deer and rabbits. Over here we can see some abalone shell, mother of pearl, different seashells that were turned into jewelry. As you can see here, some photos from when they were excavating the dig site. That's really cool to see them actually doing that. And here is an aerial view of that. Very cool. Okay, just walked outside and we are on the outdoor patio now. Right here. As you can see, the old ruins here. There's some petroglyphs over on these rocks here. As you can see behind me, this is a part of the walls that is still remaining that's partially buried from the buildup of earth over time. Now look how tall they are. They're way taller than I am. Quite a large site, and as we're about to find out, you're going to see this is definitely one of the largest sites that I've been to. All the stacked rock to build the walls there. It's very cool. Okay, we're about to go up the trail that takes us up into the actual city. Hopefully there's some cool stuff to see up in the top there. Let's go check it out. Oh, very cool. Check this out. You can see all the old walls and rooms that were standing here. Now down on here, this is a bit of information about the first archaeological excavations of the platform mound. They took place of May and June of 1901 by Dr. Joshua Miller. I won't read the rest out to you. I'll leave that for you guys to come and explore yourself. It's quite strange seeing all the city around you when you're standing in these old ruins. Looking at this place that probably stood thousands of years here. And then right there we have the Phoenix Airport, Sky Harbor right over there. I'm betting things looked way different when they were looking out from the top here back in the time. Yeah, very strange. Very strange to stand. Usually when I go to the ruins, they're usually way out in a rural area and the city hasn't built up around them. But in this case, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, one of America's largest cities. So we got the airport right there. You can see the mountains in the distance, and we're pretty much in downtown Phoenix almost. You can see downtown Phoenix just in the distance, as I'll show you. Just down there, you can see downtown Phoenix. So the very few high rises that we have in Phoenix, but there they are down there. So apparently the current mound started off as two smaller mounds around 1100 AD, and then by 1300 AD, 200 years later, they had merged the two mounds into one large mound and built upon it. As the occupants multiplied and demand become more increasing. I like this view here. You can get a really good representation of the inside walls. Now, how they would have been back in the time, maybe they were smoothed off with mud a little bit more, with less stone visible. I'm not sure, but very cool. And then just over there you can see one of our canals. Whether that was an original canal site for this city, I don't know, but more than likely it's more of a modern canal, but who knows. So as you can see, a lot of erosion here over the long amount of time that this place was abandoned. A lot of it's collapsed and a lot of it's disintegrated. That's why you're seeing all these mounds of dirt up here instead of walls. But you can still see the remnants of the walls up here of what used to be. I'm sure if they dug down deeper here, they'd find even more. But I think they've already excavated it to the point of getting all the artifacts out. But yeah, very cool to be here. I've been wanting to come down to this museum for quite a while now, so I finally got the chance today. Now, there's not a lot of walls left here, a lot of just decomposed dirt and rock material here, but if we walk back off of here, there's a bit of more of a trail down here that we might check out. And you can see down below the mound, you can see these other little buildings that were standing down here as well. Now here, as you can see on this sign posted, much of this village was destroyed by urban expansion. Now we preserve what we can for future generations. As you can see down here on this map, we have the different settlements that were in the area, and then there's an overlay of what stands over the top of it to this day. So a lot of these old places here are now covered up by buildings and roads, including this highway going right across here, which I believe is the 202. Okay, here on the northeast part of the compound, you can see this wall here. Now that is the retaining wall that surrounded the mound. So there's all backfill behind that, and then the city stood up on top. But yeah, this is what kind of stopped the mound from eroding out from under the houses. Over here we got a little bunny rabbit. Oh, better make that 2 bunny rabbits we have over here. Hello little bunny rabbits, how y'all doing? Very chilled out bunny rabbits. They don't seem too concerned about me standing right by them here. So over here, this would have been the surrounding, what they call in modern day suburbs. So this is a representation of the kind of houses that were below the mound that would have been spread out amongst the valley below. And here's a little bit of style of the construction. We had the rounded pit houses and the adobe houses. Now this one had like a central beam with more beams coming off on an angle along here with like thatching across the top. You can see like the mud and stone laid over the top. This one was very similar but with more straight edges. And here you can see a little demonstration of what that under frame would have looked like with the thatching on top. Okay, let's go into an adobe house. Okay, we got the cotton stored on the wall, weaving loom, some little seats. As you can see, the framework up here with the sticks across the top. It looks quite comfy actually. This is quite clean, I like it. And then down in the corner we got the grinding stone where they'd be preparing food and stuff. And down here a small little fire where they'd prepare meals and stay warm. And over here we have our pit house style houses, more rounded off with little small doorways to them. Kind of reminds me of Star Wars for some reason. Maybe they copied that from the Native Americans, who knows. So this would have been what they entertained themselves with. They'd have dances and games and all sorts of stuff here. People would sit up on the outer edges here, and down in there they'd be playing the ball games or doing different stuff like that. Very cool. Okay, so here we have a representation of what they used to cook with sometimes, doing roasting and preparing their fruit. They'd have these cooking pits here. As you can see, it's rounded here. They'd put hot stones over the top, but down in the bottom it'd be layered with stones around here. Hot stones on the bottom, covered in grass, fruit in the middle, hot stones on top. It's actually kind of similar to a cooking style that the Australian Aborigines have. They put like meat down in a hole, wrap it up, and like surround it with hot stones as well, or hot coals, And the New Zealand people also had a similar cooking style as well. Alrighty guys, that's it. I'm walking out now. Now I did brush over everything. Didn't get to spend a whole lot of time here. Finished at 2:30. Got down here after 3 because traffic was a nightmare. I would suggest they do close at 4:45. So give yourself, I'd say, 2 hours to search here. There's getting around the trail, it's not that big of a trail, but there are quite a few exhibits and galleries inside. So I'd say about, you want 2 hours. If there's a special event going on, you probably want more. But yeah, if you're into cultural history and Native American history and culture, definitely come down to the Pueblo Grande Museum Archaeological site and park. It's only $6 for admission, $6. All right, guys. So that's it from me. Comment below. What did you think of this, guys? What are your favorite Native American sites? I've been to a few of them now, and I really love the history. It's great. It really takes you back in time. All right, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. And until next time, this is Aussie Van Man. We'll see you later.